make cheesy ramen whilst talking about quitting a 9 till 5. I've been really hesitant to talk about this. I quit my 9 to 5 last year. Now, just for some context, I'm Georgia, I'm 26, and I've had a stammer since I was about 5 years old. That is relevant because of the impact that it has on my life. It's something that I'm always going to have, and it just makes life a little bit more challenging. I was working for a media agency doing advertising. Any role that requires speaking is going to be challenging, and I knew that, but I don't think I expected it to be as challenging as it was. I think working in media, communication is such a big part of it. Constant back-to-back Microsoft Teams meetings, meeting up with clients, networking is such a big part. These are the noodles I'm using, by the way. During my time here, I tried my absolute best not to let my stammer hold us back, but like anyone, you're gonna have good days and bad days. Lunch breaks, wanting to go and recharge your battery because stammering is so mentally and physically exhausting, but not wanting to look like you're excluding yourself. There were so many times where I just wanted to sit in my car on my lunch break and not have to socialise. But by doing this, I did feel like I was going to exclude myself. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this, even if you don't stammer yourself. People who are neurodivergent, people with anxiety, you know there are times where you just need to be alone. And if I was having a particularly bad day, I'd always wonder if I was coming across rude. Some days I'm that exhausted that all I'm trying to do is get through that day. A lot of the time I would actually use up my annual leave just to take a day off, just to not be in work. I wouldn't even do anything because all I needed to do was recover from the working days. The sound of Microsoft Teams still gives me anxiety to this day. I think in jobs also there's so much focus on good communication, and there were days where I just did not feel like a good communicator, and I think what that did for me mentally was really damaging. But I had thoughts of, how am I ever gonna progress in this role when everyone around me seems to be coping so well, and it should just be such a normal thing to have a 9 to 5 and not really find it that challenging. And I know that I'm so determined to not let my stammer hold me back, but at the end of the day it is going to have an impact. Stammering is literally classed as a disability, and although I've never really thought too much into that, there are reasonable adjustments that companies need to be making, and I kind of do wish that I was more vocal about that at the beginning. I've got absolutely no regrets about leaving, but there are definitely things that I'd do different in the future when working for somebody else. I also want to say I think it's so important knowing when to quit. It's not like I stayed in this job for a week, decided it was too hard and then left. I stuck it out for a good 2 years. I've taken away what I needed from it. There's been so many lessons learned, and now it's just time to finally move on. Maybe I'll get a job as a chef next.